Folks, welcome to the Pondcast. We're very excited. We have a really good episode for you today. We have a guest, our second guest in the history of the show. Let's everybody say hi. Steve, Tony, say hello.
Third guest. Hello,
Third
everyone. Guest? Third guest. Steve was a guest. Steve was our first
Steve
guest.
Steve doesn't count as a guest. That doesn't.
He was our first guest, like on episode 6 or something.
You're nitpicking.
That's what I do.
It is what you do. So just, folks, we're going to get real right away. John, Uncle John, your local podcast host, has been having a rough month. I'm not going to get into the whole of it. It involves things that are terrifying to most normal human beings. So, Tony, you can account that this is true. Truly terrifying. So, the benefit of living in New York. There's obviously a lot of stuff to do, so I had a lot of time to get my mind off of things, and so I took the day and I went up to the Museum of Natural History in Central. It's on Central Park West. You'll see. I mean, I talk about that a little bit in the video. It was a truly great day. I got to go by myself. I wasn't hassled by anybody. My only problem, obviously, is that there was not much in the way of reptiles in general. There was one small room. Have anyone else ever been?
I never have.
I have not.
It was really upsetting, just that the lack of reptilian stuff. But they did have one thing that was truly worth it, and just in walking around, obviously there's a lot of dinosaurs and a lot of really cool stuff. Really, it was an amazing experience. Definitely check out the Museum of Natural History, obviously. But while I was there, I was able to see something that I thought was really cool. So let's play that. I'm always thinking of you guys, obviously. So I took a little video while I was there. So I'm going to now be quiet so that we can play the video for you.
All right, guys. I'm here at the Museum of Natural History in New York City, Central Park West. The home of one of the great science communicators, Neil deGrasse Tyson. So I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a peek at what's going on here. Behind me, I have the exhibition of the body, the carcass, if you will, of Lonesome George. So we're gonna check that out for you guys real quick. Hopefully, I've given you enough of a segue into this. That is him. Again, this is from the island of Pinta. We covered in the last episode the population of the island of Hispaniola has recovered remarkably, from 15 animals remaining to now there's over 1,000. This is one of the less fortunate islands, or one of the inhabitants of the less fortunate islands. Not a crazy amount of interest. I've been here for about 15-20 minutes, and maybe there's been 60 people come in here. This exhibit is right next to the dinosaurs. I think that might be a problem. Closely related to the turtles that we also discussed in the last episode. But yeah, this is him. He's actually a little bit smaller than I would have thought. But again, he's just one example of that genus species. This young lady is delightful. I didn't get a chance to talk to her. So that is him. Lonesome George, Lonesome No More, adored by millions a year. Sobering reminder, though. This is what can happen if things don't change. All right? Thanks, guys.
So you're welcome, okay, folks. You're welcome for getting a sneak peek into that. The best part was that you don't. You saw everything that you needed to see. Mm-hmm. The little old lady that I briefly mentioned in that she was amazing. I didn't even talk to her because I felt weird. I was there. It says in the video that I was there for 15-20 minutes. I was there for literally 1 hour. That was not the only take of the video. Let's just say that. So she kept giving me like weird looks, but because I was like trying to like film her a few times. But like she was really, really energetic. She was talking a lot about the lot about the process of the taxidermy, which we have a link to. There's a video on the American Museum of Natural History website that is that it kind of goes into some of the explanations for that, and it was really amazing. She kept talking about the folds of the neck. She said experts worked on the folds of the neck for an entire summer. Not sure why that was the most important thing, but yeah, it kind of speaks for itself, you know. Very.
Isn't that great though? They have an expert there to talk about that installment, and they talk about the taxidermy and not the fact that it's Lonesome George.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple things that I was like, okay, this is, you know, she should be saying this, but I mean, so just kind of, you know, just me being me. But it was good though, and it's just such a unique thing. Obviously, so many. I don't know what the numbers are, obviously, but like there's going to be a number of species that are going to go extinct in our lifetimes, and not many of them are we going to be able to actually see after they're extinct to see a good, you know, a good specimen, and we're not going to know also when that actual one died. We know June 24th, 2010. We know when the last one died. It's just weird. It's just really weird. But a cool experience. So, Tone, when you come down, we're going to go.
Did he die in 2010?
2010.
Has it been that,
2012.
has it been that long?
No way.
Hold on. I wrote it. It's either 2010 or 2012.
2012 sounds better to me.
12. I think. You double check.
2012. 2012. Sorry.
Yeah, 2012.
2012.
Don't mess with a couple turtle nerds, man.
I know, right?
We've killed for less, my friend.
So check out though. We do have I think we're going to be able to put up the link to that to the article on the American Museum of Natural History, and there's also a really good article in the Scientific American, you know, just about that and about the process. So check those out. We are gonna let's get into introducing our guest. Tony, you wanna take that away? You wanna tell them a little bit about who we have here?
I didn't know I was going to do the honors. Thank you for that. Thank you for that curveball.
Yeah.
This is Kevin Labille, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Kevin is French. He's from France. That's what French means. He's a really bright kid, and for whatever reason, we at the Turtle Room are extremely drawn to bright young people who have decades ahead of them in this stuff, and show promise that one day they could end up being way more important than us, and we will just be happy to be friends with them. So Kevin is one of those guys. He's studying right now in Arkansas, correct?
Yes, exactly.
And you're studying to get, are you studying to get your PhD?
Yeah, PhD in computer sciences.
Oh my gosh, you're so smart. We also like smart people.
No.
Yeah, no, you are.
Don't be modest.
I will argue with you on this one. I will. That's so cool. So, Kevin is also an expert on the genus Pelusios, which, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's the African mud turtle. He'll correct me if I say anything wrong, but a really cool genus and a really underrepresented genus in American collections, and a really understudied genus, and a really misunderstood genus, or I don't know, maybe there's just not much known about them, and there's not a lot of interest, especially here in the United States. So
a misunderstood genius, just like me.
Right.
So Kevin, let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. Tell me, why is it that African reptiles are so understudied?
So from a point of view, and I've been asking people around me, what do they think? And we all came to the same point: is mainly the African continent is. It lacks an interest, and especially in herpetology. Like, not many people are really interested in Africa anymore. And I think that's the main reason. It's the lack of interest toward Africa, which is kind of bad because the the origin of turtles comes from Africa actually. It's that they
Cradle of
discovered it.
civilization.
Yeah, it's been discovered like last year I believe. It's I forgot the name. Uh, oh damn it. Uno Unotunosaurus africanus, something like this. It's like a lizard, which is like 260 million years old, and that's what gave birth to the Killians.
Is that the
And
animal that had when the the ribs started to
yeah,
become
yeah,
flat and fused together?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That it's this one, yeah. And it's been discovered in Africa. So yeah, Africa is kind of the origin
Everything
of
was going on
turtle.
in Africa. Everything started there, huh?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, mostly.
It's an
Humans,
amazing hotbed.
turtles. Yeah.
Okay, so is there? I mean, in light of the fact that obviously there's so much going on there, and from now to obviously to the origin of time, why is it? I mean, do we know why it's not you know, an interesting thing to people?
Uh, I
I
don't
mean,
really
yes,
know.
obviously
If
nobody knows, but
well, I think like if we take an example, it happened in Africa. Have you heard about that books related to like uh, African monkeys, the gorillas or something? Well, nobody cared about those monkeys until someone wrote a book about them.
Mm.
right, right.
It was a lady, and she wrote a book
Is
about the
that
studies.
Jane Goodall with the gorillas? Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah,
it is? Or
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
chimpanzees?
and Diane, no, Jane Goodall was well, she's both, but she had the big thing was the girl, and Diane Fossey was the other one that she got murdered in the 70s. That was a big thing. It takes a white lady to die. That's when everyone gets interested.
It's so true. It's so true.
So yeah.
So yeah,
So do
so
we
yeah,
need to go over
that
there and
lady
kill
is the
somebody?
yeah. I think we need such an example for our turtles. I don't know. It could help,
Sure. Okay.
but
So what's
who's willing to do it? That's the question.
right? Well, who
Steve,
is?
definitely Steve. If I had to nominate one of us to go over and kill a Caucasian woman for the future of turtles, I would definitely nominate
I
Steve
don't know.
because
I
he
don't know if
probably
Steve
get away with it.
is smooth enough to do that. Like I don't like what I
No,
mean. It has to look like an accident. It can't look like some turtle guys went over there to drum up interest. It has to be like make it
that's
look
my
like a
point.
mistake. I don't see Steve doing it.
That's my point. They'd never suspect it. He's such a nice guy. They'd never suspect it.
That's true.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or what.
Yeah, I don't think it is. This
You
is
got
terrible.
the brains and you're a nice guy. We could pull it off.
Fair enough. All right. So, if you want to send us your assassination theories, how we can get this done, then let's get that going. Um, I don't know. So who is working with African species?
There is two French herpetologists. One is Roger Bourg, uh, and the second one is Jérôme Maron.
Okay.
And both have been studied African species for a while now. Like they've been, especially Boer. He described a lot of Pelusial species, and they connected uh, two trips in Africa. One was in 1977 to 2003, and that's where he discovered the Pelusius scrupulata. And so both discovered the species and described it. And in 2000, Jérôme Maron discovered Pelusius maroni. So he discovered the species, but it's been described by Bohr. That's why that's what the name is, Maroni. And so that shows that we still have a lot to learn about Africa and African turtles, because those two species has been discovered like not even 20 years ago.
Right.
So I think we still have a couple of species to discover there.
So you think there's more? There could be more species there that we haven't even discovered.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's so interesting. What do you think about the fact that Pelusios as a genus are, a lot of them are kind of drab in coloration. They're not like the prettiest turtles you might see, especially the ones that you see more often. Some of the more common species that you might see in captivity, some of the ones that are imported more often. So I think people, it's something that I've thought about before. I think maybe people see them, they see that there's different species or different subspecies or what have you, and they see the different animals, and to them, it's just an African mud turtle. I've seen some people get interested about like Pelusios nanus, which is a really small species, which is a species that I keep, that we at the Turtle Room keep. That's just an awesome species, and because it's small, there are some people who are interested. But again, it's just an African mud turtle. Steve, do you have any of the photos of some of the? There we go.
There it is.
That's Pelusios nanus right there, which
It really is so pretty.
yeah, the adult size is smaller than a spotted turtle, or at least comparable to a spotted turtle. I think they're smaller from what I read recently, but it's, you know,
Yes.
it's a small turtle.
How many
Here's
Go ahead.
this Castanedius? Here, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's mine. That's my Castaneus.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that's one of the photos from the calendar. We'll talk to you guys about that later.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Tony, actually, because while we're showing some of these pictures, we have a lot of these pictures for all the species that we work with, not just the Pelusios, obviously, but they are featured in our calendar, such as is continually behind me. I left this here, by the way, and you were commenting about the height of it, Tony, but it's been perfect. I wake up and I see it every day and I smile.
Dude, you're 6'9". That's knee height when
Right,
you're
and
standing.
my bed is not like I don't sleep standing up. I wake up in bed and look straight ahead, and there it is. Anyway, the point being that if you are listening to the podcast today, and I think Steve, we're going to sing it until tomorrow, right?
Yeah, through midnight tomorrow night.
Through midnight tomorrow, all right? Though, if you want to get a hold of one of our new calendars and you use the code Pondcast 12 Africa, you will receive 20% off the calendar. So it pays to listen, as we've been saying, and you will pay 20% less for listening.
We've been saying it pays to listen, but this time we mean it.
This time, right? We're serious this time. So we'll mention that again. But Pondcast 12 Africa, all one word. That is the code. So all right. So Kevin, continue. I was just going to ask you about the Pelusios. How many species of Pelusios are there in Africa?
I think now it's like I think it's 18 species.
That's a lot. 18. Yeah, that's high, and
Yeah.
there may be more.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I said, there's not many research has been conducted in Africa, and we have to mention one of the major actor is ACI, African Colonial Institute, which was founded in 2009 by Thomas, and so Thomas has been directing his life in African turtle. He's been working a lot with like almost every African species here. So the institute is based in Senegal, and he's doing a very African Kilonian Institute.
I wasn't sure if sorry, folks. I wasn't sure if he said African Culinary Institute, which I was going to definitely want him to talk about. But sorry, continue. Sorry.
It's a sore subject because they eat. Because of the bush trade, it's a sore subject.
Yeah, true story.
They do a great job, though, Kevin. I read I was reading in this year's issue of the Badager, the yearly magazine for the Turtle and Tortoise Preservation Group, and there's a really nice, attractive article too. It looks really good on Tomas and what he's doing out there, and what an amazing thing! Did you see like the waterland tubs they have set up? And I didn't realize when I saw him too, I recognized him because that photo of him holding the giant male sulcata, that photo I've seen before many times. Really, really nice. But he's doing some really good stuff. That was a nice article.
Yes, that's true. So one of the so Thomas been working mostly with the Pelagius edansoni, which is a species found in Senegal. It's a medium-sized turtle. It's like 20 centimeters. That's quite small. And the only place in Senegal where it's found is the Tok Tok Reserve, the nature reserve. Actually, Thomas made that area protected by the Senegal government, I believe in 1996. And so since then, the Peluso species is a fully protected turtle in Senegal. So that is great. That's a really good thing.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. That's what's so cool about what he's doing. It's obviously captive breeding, education, and working in the wild to actually protect and conserve habitat, which is the most difficult and yet most important part of conservation. Getting the natives basically to protect their own species, because we see it in Madagascar. I know we talked about that before, but if you can't get the people to buy in, or if you can't, if you can't convince someone that these turtles or these tortoises are more important than feeding their family, then it's going to be an uphill battle and a losing battle,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, agreed. Also, so he's been conducted field studies throughout Africa, and so he started a new project last year in Benin. Is that how you call that country?
Yep, Benin. Yeah.
Yeah, Benin. So he's been working for a year in Benin now, and he's trying to make an area protected, and this area you can find two species, Kinexis erosa and Kinexis homeona. I don't know how you pronounce that.
You got it.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. So yeah. He's doing a very great job on that, and that I don't know. I mean, we lack such institutes and such a people.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Steve, do you have that video yet? Steve's going to pull up a video of Pelusius adansoni, which Jared, our what do we call captive
Conservation husbandry specialist.
Conservation now, because he's got some stud book animals. So conservation husbandry specialist, and one of the best guys you'll ever meet in the world. He works with some awesome animals too, and some of the most unbelievable morphs you'll ever see. But this video is his footage of his adansoni, doing something that turtle breeders like to see.
If you're at work, turn it off. It is NSFW.
So yeah,
it's really beautiful, though, isn't it?
Look at this guy in the bottom left coming in. What's going on here?
That was me in all of college.
Yeah, and you could guess which one I was.
Bottom.
Just saying. The more successful young guys are the ones that usually go bald first. So
That's true.
I'm paying for all my success in the past, John. It's okay.
So I'm intrigued. I read an article about, I think it was an Australian species that I think I might have shared it with you guys. I don't remember, but it was about a tortoise or a turtle it was a mud turtle that breathes underwater through its anus. So we've seen it very few times. Is that the type of thing that we're right? I prefer anus.
You sure do.
I really do.
You really
Is
do.
that the type of thing that we can wonder, like, okay, maybe this is how we haven't found a species yet because it's never visible to us?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry, Kevin. If you want it, you can take it. But yeah, I think that's exactly it, John. There's a lot of places, and if there's no reason for people to go there,
Right.
to look in that one spot within the habitat, like for instance, in the mud in a specific habitat, or they're not easy to catch for food or what have you, then they can go kind of unnoticed for a while.
Right. Well, it's crazy to think about the fact that something could be there and we would have no idea. Like there could be a really large, there we go, butt breathing turtle. I wasn't making that up. There could be a really large species, even like a soft shell or something, a large slow moving river turtle that is in the mud that's breathing out of its butt and has no reason to ever be seen by humans. That could be down there.
Yeah, well, that's true actually. Yeah.
And Lord knows the soft shells are are a turtle of contention as well right now. Also in Africa, is that correct?
Sorry?
Did I just knock it out of the park with that? Is there something we want to talk about that?
Just drop the mic.
Not soft shells. Steve is giving me the most puzzled look right now. I
missed the line because I was working on something else.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay. I was getting
that article into our showcase item over here so people can come back and check it out.
It's so funny, guys. If anyone is watching, while we're talking, obviously we're very full of ourselves. Just watch Steve frantically moving from side to side. I don't know what he's doing. I can never tell, but it's really tremendous to watch.
Oh my gosh, he's like an elf in the North Pole.
Yeah. You would think he was like manning a space shuttle. He's like constantly doing stuff. I don't.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Between viewer comments and trying to get all this stuff up on the screen for you guys.
Viewer comments. I'm glad you brought that up. Do we have any questions? We want to answer a question right now?
We do have a few questions. I'm not sure any of them fit into our topic right now, so I think part of me would save them till the end.
Which part? The part that's going to do it or the part that's going to actually wait? We're waiting. Okay, we're waiting. We're going.
Yeah, let's hold off on it. Let's keep rolling on Africa. If we got an African, for those that are listening right now, if you have questions on African stuff, we'll get them in right now. Otherwise, we're gonna save some of these for towards the end of the show, so we don't break our African momentum.
Okay. If you have any African questions, there's so many directions I could go with that. I'm not gonna do it. All right, so Kevin, what else is there? Is there anything else going on specifically that you'd like to talk about? I know there was a few other.
Yeah, sure. Things. A couple of things. I believe is the IUCN. They had a meeting in Africa, and they had to review every African species to review the conservation status.
Mm-hmm.
And so a couple of them has been changed, and especially Kinexis omeana, which is now critically endangered. So Thomas' project in Benin perfectly fits this change because he's working with Kinexis omeana, and the species just being critically endangered now. So that's a really good stuff. Also, there is one species I would like to mention. It's Cyclanorbis elegans, which is a softshell, African softshell turtle. So this species went
for the record, what I was trying to get at before, no one took my cue, and Steve gave me a weird look. Continue. Sorry, Nubian flapshell.
Nubian flapshell turtle, great. And the tortoise he was just talking about was a Holmes hingeback tortoise. Kinexis
By the way,
omeana.
Nubian flapshell turtle, is that the coolest name of any turtle that we've ever seen? That's up there.
That's pretty sick.
He definitely. I'm picturing him in with an Egyptian, with a Sith and Nubian.
I hear the word Nubian, and I actually think of Star Wars.
I hear multiple when I think of Star Wars. It's weird.
Yoda's turtle.
the spacecraft that that the people of Naboo flew were like Nubian.
Oh,
Was the make
that's
of
right.
their craft. They were Nubian. You know, that
That's
was like the
right.
brand.
A Nubian T-14 hyperdrive or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm happy that it only took till episode 12 for these Star Wars nerds to get into that conversation.
True story.
I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you guys. It didn't come out earlier.
I mean, that's been the biggest problem with my Star Wars life is that there's no turtles or similar life forms. There's so many aliens, none of them are going to have a shell. Like, come on, George Lucas. J.J. Abrams, get on that.
I think the Sith knew just how dangerous turtles were, so they eliminated them first.
That makes sense, and I love you for saying it.
I saw a Chinese big-head turtle recently that looked like Jabba the Hutt.
I've seen some common snappers that strike the same pose.
Right. But Kevin, tell us more about this flapshell turtle because this story is really interesting.
Yes. So this turtle is found in Western Africa and Eastern Africa. So in Western Africa, it's found in. Sorry.
Is it found though?
No, well, no, that's the problem. It's not found anymore. So it was found before. So the last time it has seen for the last time in 1978 in Western Africa. Thomas has been looking for that turtle for the past couple of years, and he goes into field trips that like for months just to look for that turtle, and he never found it since 1978. So that's crazy. So we still have to check Eastern Africa, but I'm not sure we'll find it. The last specimen alive was in New York, and it died in 2010. It was kept by someone famous in the turtle hobby. I'm not sure if I can mention his name, but
Yeah.
So the last known specimen died in 2010. Can I mention his name?
Yeah.
John, I can tell you, John doesn't care.
It was Bill McCord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Probably
no.
know him.
Oh no. Don't say his name.
But think about that, right? This is an animal that flew completely under the radar and is probably extinct in the wild. Maybe not. Maybe there's a couple somewhere. But we
That's
think
the
it's
problem.
sad. We have like save the panda bears and save the tigers and everything. But there are so many species that are going extinct every single day that we don't even know about that are so unique and so special and so just awesome, and they're just going extinct before we even know that they're gone. That's what's amazing.
It's the exact opposite of the Lonesome George thing. This is, that's Lonesome George is the Abraham, the Lincoln Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and this poor guy is buried in an unmarked soldier's grave. Nothing, got nothing. We barely even knew he was there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great tie-in, by the way. Bring it right back to the beginning. I like it.
I try.
But yeah, absolutely. It's just the saddest thing ever. And I will say, to bring it back again to where you were first going with that, with the Conyxus homiana, the Holmes hingeback tortoise, which you mentioned Tomas is working with. One of our breeders from the Turtle Room has been breeding them successfully, and a really good job with them. He doesn't normally like us to mention him very much, but we all have man crushes on him. So, and this is a species that I don't mind talking about. So that's Ben Forrest, member of the Turtle Room, who does an amazing job. One of the best keepers around, one of the most knowledgeable guys around. He's been having a lot of success with them in captivity. So that's another good thing.
Kevin, I have a question. The Nubian flapshell. What is the type of environment that you would find in? So where is Tomas looking?
I think.
I want to say I thought it was a river turtle.
Yes, it lives in rivers, and it's a soft-shell turtle, so it spends most of his time like buried underwater.
Right. So slow moving, probably.
Yes. So that, like you said, it might be here, but we don't know because it might spend all his time like
Right.
buried underwater. It might be here, but we
It
do
might just
not
be
see
soaking in that oxygen in its butthole down in the water.
it.
Such an
Very possible. Very possible.
oh my god.
Idiot.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we need to investigate this turtle more.
But how cool is it? See,
Actually,
for the listeners out there, right? You want to hear about your Greek tortoises or your red ear sliders or whatever else that we see a lot, and the morphs and everything like that. But I mean, Tomas is out there playing Indiana Jones. Like he's out there in the wilds of Africa, like searching for this, this diamond in the rough, the needle in the haystack, whatever, and like that. To me, that's the coolest thing. Those are the guys that I'm jealous of.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
I'm way more jealous of him than the guys who are breeding a cool morph or whatever.
I literally this morning I woke up and I couldn't find my headphones, and I had to look around the apartment, and it was the most fun 10 minutes I had all day, and that was just trying to find my headphones.
Imagine how much fun he's having out there.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
Just
saying.
looking for stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe you find it, maybe you don't.
uh,
I did not find my headphones, by the way. I found them later.
yeah.
All right. So, what do we want to do? A question now?
Let's do a question.
Wrapping up. We can go back to Africa.
It'll come back. It'll come back. We'll have questions too.
Not to Marcus Party.
I think there is one we can kind of squeeze in here and make it apply, because I believe one of the African species has a unique adaptation that we might fit into this question. A viewer asks about the what level of intelligence do you think turtles and tortoises have?
Ooh.
Oh, that's
like
interesting.
Anyone?
I think that listen, this is my thing. I don't know if they have problem-solving ability, but they have the more so than other animals. Now, maybe obviously you have dogs and dolphins are extremely smart, but turtles, they can definitely figure stuff out. They definitely have personalities, and you can see the spark. You look at a turtle's eyes, you can see the spark of life. It's not like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that leads necessarily to intelligence, but I think that's like the kind of the basic, the framework. Whereas like a sheep, it just looks at you. The sheep just stare at you with their weird eyes, and you can tell that there's just nothing going on in there. Like there's so many animals like that. I don't think turtles are. I think turtles have at least. It's impossible to measure, but I think they're intelligent. That's my general take.
I'm gonna butcher the specifics of this, but there was a study done. Don't know if it was an official study or not. Don't know if a scientific journal followed the study. I have no idea. But there was a study done where they did like a maze. Where you do like a maze with mice. Like mice or rats or whatever to get through the maze in a certain amount of speed or figure out how to get through it. And North American wood turtles outdid whatever the rodent counterpart was in the study, and I thought that was really interesting. And then I also thought that had to be bullcrap, but just because they're so much more slower moving. But
I wonder, did they use food at the end?
I don't know I didn't look at any specifics. I can't remember where I may have read. You know what, Steve, was this in Peter Pritchard's book?
Which one?
Tales from the Thebaid. That's a French word. Kevin, you have to help me with that one.
Like on intelligence, you mean? Or...
Yeah, it might have been. I think it was his book that he talked about it, and I think he talked about like Archie Carr making a funny comment about how that they must have used some of the dumbest rodents ever or something like that.
Oh yeah. I think I remember the anecdote you're talking about now. Fantastic book, man. Anyway, yeah, I think there was also a study done with, I believe, redfoot tortoises, where they were able to at least see what others were doing to, defeat an obstacle and learn socially. from
Oh,
other
really?
tortoises. I can't remember when that was, but I thought I saw that one. And then there's also, I believe isn't it the Pelamedusa genus that they've discovered will hunt in packs occasionally to take down some larger prey for food?
Nice segue.
Kevin?
What? Say it again.
Wasn't there an article or something about, was it Pelamedusa, like, kind of working together in a group sometimes to take down
Oh yeah.
some kind of prey?
Yes, exactly. They work together to catch like birds and stuff. There's a video on YouTube actually.
Right. There we go. And so, like, I think of something like that, and, I think that, maybe that shows that they can learn and adapt at the very least, which, while that may not necessarily be an intelligence thing, depending on how they're learning, it at least shows that they have some level of intelligence going on. And here's actually trying to find the original article. I just found a blog that links to the article about redfoots. There's also an article on wood turtle intelligence in here as well. So there's definitely studies being done to find out, how exactly they learn.
I need to read that. Can you send me the articles?
Yes, gladly. I'll post
Let's
them
just
up
post it. Yeah, let's
for
post it so we
everybody
can get
as well.
the link to everybody.
We'll make sure they show up in the YouTube page when the video gets finalized.
I think
Okay.
I think another interesting thing to look at. Sorry, I'm interrupting, but another
that's
interesting thing to think about is based on the intelligence. Where do you factor in like sea turtles that have, they have this enormous radius of they go to lay their eggs to one place and then they travel throughout the whole, like the instinct factor. Like how do they know how to do that? Where does the line between instinct and intelligence end?
Yeah. The
Right. Well,
I've read something about these. They said that they use stars and the moon.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've read stuff like that too.
I don't know much about that, but
Well, but that's
That's
if they can follow the moon, like that's what that's what human cultures did and still do for millennia. Like that's
yeah, exactly.
close. I don't know how many turtles or how many other species of animals are smart enough to look up at the moon and figure out where they need to go. Like I think that's impressive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. Steve, what was the African turtle that you were thinking of?
that was the Pelamedusa species
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Also,
Gotcha.
Pelusia's senioritas. I've seen a couple of them like hunting together.
Pretty crazy. Pretty cool stuff. The African wolf turtle, right? That's what that stands for.
Which one?
Do we have another question?
Species.
We have a few other questions.
No, go ahead.
Another viewer, here, let me pull them up here. Another viewer asked about, she wants to hear us talk about box turtles because she loves box turtles.
Wait, bugs or bugs?
Box turtles.
Like a box in a box, like a box of gobstoppers turtles.
All right.
Kevin, do you have any particular background with box turtles?
No, I just found one in next to my place last year, but that's all. That's it.
Nice.
They're certainly tend to have personality, to say the least. I've gotten to work with a few of them through a good friend of the Turtle Room, Joshua Sukanik of TurtleTowns.com. So we've gotten to work with a bunch of things that way, and they clearly have personality. Lots of people love those turtles very much because of their personality, their behavior. And especially the eastern box turtle is just gorgeous. So box turtles are very fascinating, and especially in the case of the eastern box turtle, they're disappearing far faster than they really need to be, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And at some point, there needs to be some kind of turnaround there, other than just states prohibiting their capture or keeping or whatever. We need to start being able to return some of our U.S. native species back to the wild as well, I think.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to the eastern box turtle, I think that's important.
And that's an ongoing theme. We're so often looking at the things that are exotic, and we've talked about this before. But I think it's important that people that care are dealing with species that we need to deal with. Welcome back, Tony. He was just breathing out of his butthole in the other room.
Something like that.
Tony, we're talking about box turtles. Jim, the three of us are kind of slowly struggling along talking about it. So, do you have anything to offer about box turtles? It was a viewer request.
I just want to let all the listeners know. I just want to let all the listeners know that I left on purpose for a moment so that you guys could realize how much I'm the glue of this program.
It's so weird because I really was thinking that. I was like, oh crap, Tony's gone. What are we gonna do now?
Yep. So you're funny, Steve's smart, Kevin's lovely. Just remember,
Kevin has two. You're the glue. The glue. That's like standard code for like not really good at anything, but just kind of is around a lot.
Yeah, makes the team. The role player,
right?
Who really makes it a team.
Okay, well, it's time for you to step up and hit the big shot, role player. Box turtles, go.
What about them?
I know it wasn't. The question was flawed. It wasn't a very specific question.
It was talking about box turtles.
Right? Can you talk about box turtles?
Yeah, I love box turtles. Which box turtles are we talking about? The genus Terrapene, or are we talking the genus Quora, the Asian box turtles?
They
Probably
just said
American.
box turtles, so I was kind of going on Terrapene.
So. And see how he pronounces it differently than I am, and he tries to put his nose up in the air like he's better than me. You guys catch that? Just making sure. Yeah, they're great. I've had an opportunity to work with Asian box turtles in captivity. I have some Quora flavomarginata, and I have I've been able to work with our good friend Michael Musnick, who is a citizen scientist in New York, and he has an awesome study going on North American wood turtles primarily, but he also does some stuff with eastern box turtles. Really awesome stuff. What's so amazing is, and I probably have mentioned this on a podcast before, so forgive me, but what's so cool about our North American box turtles is the immense range that they use, and it's different for every species, for every individual. So one turtle may stay in the same place all season, for the most part, and then another one may travel miles at a time without stopping, and that just goes to show you when we protect one forest area or what have you, one natural area, and leave it as is, but it's only a square mile, and then there's roads around it in all directions, they're going to be crossing the roads. Just because we can keep them in tanks doesn't mean that they are going to stay in the same spot forever. These animals move, and they don't mix well with automobiles. Know what I mean? That was about box turtles.
That was good. Not many species do mix well with automobiles, except for dogs.
But when you are part of a study like that, and you come back to a lot of my animals are kept in my basement. I come down to my basement, and I see all of the animals that are kept in all these enclosures. It really is like a humbling experience to say, like, wow, this is a really important thing that I'm a part of, and I really need to make sure I do everything I can to provide the most naturalistic conditions possible for these animals, because it really is an injustice to have them in captivity. So we really need to take our commitment seriously and make sure we're doing everything we can to provide the most space and the least amount of stress and the best diet and the best temperatures and blah, 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 all the way down the line. Because it really is amazing how unlike the wild it is in our basements.
And apparently we need to give them some games and some other some mental stimulation too, based on some of these articles we're sending here. Maybe more intelligent than we think. What if they're listening? What if they know what we're talking about, and we're like, yeah, this little sucker's gonna die, and they're just totally understand it.
What if they make fun of me when I walk away from them?
Right. I think that's probably more likely. That's why turtles are too cool to be afraid of that. So you're right.
one turtle turns to the other one and is like, well, he obviously isn't feeding us enough because he's got to save all the food for his fad. You know what?
Good.
Does that make sense?
Was that a joke? That was the voice you were doing. That was by a turtle. A turtle was
That
saying
was a turtle joke. That was a turtle. They sound a lot like me, so.
I gotcha. I
didn't know we needed a Frank Caliendo type to also be the role player. Ask Frank Caliendo to do a turtle impression. I dare you.
You do a good turtle though. Do your turtle into the camera. It'll be perfect.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. Where they swim at the.
That looked pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go, everyone.
You could do a tortoise too. Do your tortoise. That was your
regular slider.
Don't do this
John Weir.
Don't do this to me. Do your African Spurthide.
I don't know if I can. I always do one slow bite and then they get into. That was it. That's all you're getting.
That was, folks. I'm sorry. He usually gets really into it. He does the whole.
The arms in front.
Stomp first.
That just happened.
That happened.
That was good. That was good.
That wasn't bad, right? I was working on my animal impressions. I had to babysit a child recently by myself, a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe you.
I did. True story.
No one lets you do that.
The only thing, I know. No, that's what I said. They asked me, and I was like, "Are you sure? Like, is that? I don't know if that's a good idea." But the only thing that I could do that made sense that like the kid liked was animal impressions. And she had a lot of turtles, so we were relating on that level. She had a lot of toy plastic turtles, mostly sea turtles. Anyway, we can keep moving on. Let's go one more question. We're gonna try to wrap it up here. Let's go one more question, and
yeah.
All right. Our favorite viewer from Connecticut. I think Anthony knows who he means.
Yay!
He asks how the new four-eyed turtle is doing. Oh. And so I guess I'll take that one.
Steve.
I had to. He actually got to see it when we bought it the other Saturday, and so he's doing great. We actually just posted a video to YouTube. Was that yesterday, Anthony? That we got that up?
No.
Or 2 days ago?
It was like 2.5 days ago now, I think.
Yeah, but he's doing great. He eats very, very well, very aggressively. I was actually doing some cleanup in the tank the other day, and he decided my finger must be a worm, and so I got a little hint from him
about it.
What was that?
Can we get that video up while we're talking about it?
Yeah, I can try to pop that video up here, and it'll take a second.
Answer the question and surf the web.
I know that. I'm sorry. I know. Well, I should have thought of that.
And yeah, rub your belly and tap your head.
While I'm doing this, man, that's gonna be tough. Yeah, he's doing great. Yeah. We have some other videos of him eating some worms that will be going up at some point here. Nice. He's an absolutely awesome turtle, though, to say the least.
What species is he?
It's Cicalia quadriochelata. The four-eyed turtle. Yeah, the four-eyed turtle. So he's a pretty cool turtle. He basked within a couple days. He's really made this place his home. So more videos will be coming. I'm hoping to get some pretty cool films with him. See that moss that you see in the picture right now? That's now like under the ramp by the bubbles, and he also got a bunch of it over around the filter input. So that's what I was actually cleaning off the other day when he decided he was gonna bite at my finger, thinking it was a worm. So he loves.
That is such a BA exposure, though. By the way.
What was that?
BA.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, best anus.
Breathing
anus. Damn, I should have totally went with that. Go.
What is wrong with you?
Man. But yeah, he seems to really love it in there. So there's a quick update on our four-eyed turtle, and we named him Bonsai, if you pronounce it like the Chinese do, or Bonsai like the Vietnamese do.
Bonsai!
So we go with the latter because this is probably from the Vietnamese This is probably a Vietnamese origin.
Right. With the markings on his head, he appears to be the Vietnamese variant of the four-eyed turtle. So
Look at this.
one reason we kind of went with a Vietnamese name. The word bon actually means four in Vietnamese. And sai means false or incorrect. So in some ways, his name means false for, false for or incorrect for, which kind of describes the four-eyed look.
Steve,
Okay.
listen. If anyone's interested in knowing who is the best animal name giver in the world, it's Steve. Because not only are they good names, but there's always a story like that. And it always involves research. It's so good. It
was actually my wife actually got that, not me. It's all my wife.
If I could be a fly on the wall when she said it and how excited you were, I'd give anything for that. You were probably giggling like a schoolgirl.
Oh, it was perfect. It was perfect. It really was.
That's so good.
I mean, remember the name we gave to the first Spanglaria? I named it Ka, which is firstborn in Vietnamese as well, since it was the first one Anthony and I had received as a hatchling. So, I kind of like those those names with meanings. So
Right.
This is a really good looking. Go ahead, John.
No, that's all.
This is a really good looking turtle. I mean, you're not going to find. This is one of the best finds you'll ever get at a reptile show. We got it for a great price, and it's an amazing turtle, and
he's healthy as a horse. I mean, he is strong.
Heavy, strong, active, hungry, handsome, just like me.
So I have a confession to make. When you guys, Tony, when I talked to you, you said we got a four-eyed turtle. I thought you got like a genetically deformed, like a two-headed turtle. I was like, oh, cool. That's really cool. Like this thing, how did it get four eyes? And then I watched that video, and I didn't even connect. I was like, what? I was like, those markings are so cool. They look like eyes. I wonder what kind of turtle that is. That's what I said to myself.
Perfect.
I'm a moron.
Too bad it's not albino. If it was albino, it'd be special.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. We do have another question that just came in a few minutes ago. If you want to take another one.
Oh yeah.
I think we got time for another one. Let's keep it going.
All right. Arctic Newt asks.
Oh, I like him.
Hello,
on
Arctic
YouTube,
Newt.
on YouTube, he says, "Why do you think Pelamedusa subrufa are able to adapt in Africa?"
Kevin, take it away.
It's a great question. A little tough one. I think we have to just kind of speak almost hypothetically because we don't really know for sure. I don't think so.
How are they able to adapt? Is that a question?
Yeah. Why do you think they are able to adapt in Africa?
We have, first of all, you have to know the Pelamedusa is kind of in between tortoise and turtle because it doesn't have the. I can't remember what it has something special with its toes. Like he adapted himself to the land more than to the water habitat, and he walks a lot. Pelamedusa just basically goes from pond to pond. It's not even a pond. It's like temporary water bodies. Like
It's like a puddle, more than a pond.
Yes.
That's really
And
cool.
So I know that it has something special with his toes.
When they're on land, you can see them moving. They're fast.
You've seen them on land?
Yeah, I just watched a little video in the last 10 seconds. Actually, I did.
I'm happy to
But
see.
you think so? There in Africa, the season gets really dry and the water holes dry up. So I'm from my limited knowledge, it seems like it's developed to be able to run from one, run over land during the dry season to get to the next place of
Yes.
water and then to bury itself once it gets there.
That's what they think.
Right. It's pretty
And
sweet.
also, like Pelamedusa is found throughout the whole continent, like from the north to the south.
Yes.
And the temperature are very different. Like the north part of Africa is pretty hot, but South Africa could be really cold sometimes.
Right.
And I don't know how this species is like really adapts itself to the habitat, but I don't know how.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
He actually just clarified his question a little bit more, and he says, by that I mean, why are they able to have such a large range? And I think we just kind of started talking about how their range is so big.
Oh,
And Kevin didn't even see his clarification here, and I think one of the reasons, and I think we're going to all start learning more about that. And I don't think we've even talked about this yet, but it was on our list of possible things to cover. Is the Pelamedusa subrufa species is being broken into how many is it, Kevin?
10 species.
10 separate species, not subspecies, but full species. And so
Yes,
I
totally.
think this gives us a picture of how they've, not necessarily how or why, but like how it's happened, but that they have adapted and evolved kind of to meet the needs of the part of Africa they live in. So enough so that those living in South Africa are now going to be a different species in the same genus than those living in North Africa, for instance.
So then that's the answer to the question. Then is that they're all different species. They've all developed. That's why the range is so wide, because it's actually 10 species, not one.
Exactly.
Right,
It's like
and I think
blur. It's very.
I think it'd be very interesting if there was some way to figure out how long ago this break has happened, because obviously there's not a whole lot of visual difference, which is one reason why they've been basically seen as one species for so long, because we haven't had the genetic analysis capabilities for too long, and so the genetic analysis is kind of changing how we look at things now. So it would be interesting to see really how long they've adapted, or if maybe it's a more recent thing, or if it is they've been adapted like this for years. We're never able to tell because of how similar their appearance was.
I agree.
What's so cool about that, what that makes me think about is, if you can split a species like that look similar and will become different species or subspecies based on genetic testing.
Steve, drink up. What is he doing?
Drink up and I'll tell you.
Steve, you're my favorite person to watch in this whole thing. I know I already said that once, but that was great. You had a little trouble with the ice cube.
Actually, I was chewing on the ice cube, but
Let me finish my thought. I had something really profound.
Go, I know, go.
Just let Steve choke in peace. So listen, if that could happen with this species, right? Look at him. He shut his camera off. If you could have something like that happen with this, right? Where you're splitting it up into these subspecies or species, separate from one another, even though they look the same, now with genetic testing. So obviously something has been changed, perhaps, to help them have such a large range. Think about the North American spotted turtle that has a range from Canada to Florida. So it's been said that the further north you find a spotted turtle, the larger the animal is. So the ones in Florida are very small, and the ones up north are larger.
Pause for a second there. The map turtles with large ranges, same thing. The southern populations stay smaller. The northern populations get larger.
And that's
I believe the western painted turtle is the same way as well. And so this is something that's common not just in the spotted turtle, but in a number of North American species with large ranges.
Why is that, though? I would think that there would be more food and more stuff to eat and things in the South. Is that wrong?
It makes sense that you'd think the southern ones would get larger, but for whatever reason they don't. I haven't been able to hypothesize why. The northern ones also tend to take longer to mature. Which makes perfect sense because it is colder, so they have a shorter growing season, so they take more years till they reach maturity. But as to why they get bigger as a final outcome, really good question.
I have a thought.
That's very interesting what you said.
Pacific pond turtles also get larger in the north as well, and when they were broken into two subspecies, the larger was the nominate was the more northern of the species. But my thought is, what I've thought when I've kind of pondered this is perhaps the larger animals lay larger eggs, which then produce, which with many, if you're looking at any species that you breed, usually if you have a larger, older female, she won't necessarily lay more eggs in the clutch, but she will lay larger eggs, and larger eggs have a better chance of surviving the winter and overwintering in the nest.
But why are the eggs larger though? That's still that's what came first, the larger egg or the larger female to lay it?
I don't know. Whichever one wandered up there was.
Could it be? I mean, correlation to age. You're saying an older female lays larger.
I'm saying that is correlated to age among many throughout many species, but I'm saying with these species that are larger in the north, in the cooler areas, perhaps they are larger for that reason. And then the other thing too, you'd think they'd have a long active season like a spotted turtle in Florida, but they spend a lot of time estivating if they're in a warm environment like that. So they're spending their time, buried under leaves. They do the same thing up here, where we are in a very cold climate, and they spend pretty much the whole summer buried under leaves, and they're active in the spring and fall. And they're active in the mornings and in the evenings when it's cooler as well. Just saying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just saying.
I'm really interested in the correlation between age, though. I don't think we have a good explanation for. I'd like to get into that more.
Usually, young females will produce smaller eggs. The amount of eggs in the clutch doesn't necessarily get larger as they get larger. It's just more successful, more seasoned females produce bigger eggs, and then if that starts to decline, if they're really old,
is there a reason for that? That's what I'm saying. Is there some sort of biological or evolutionary benefit to an older female laying larger, healthier eggs? Is it because they have more time, they have more buildup of calcium from the diet, or is that a possibility?
I'm not sure.
Maybe they're also a young female who's laying her first time isn't done growing yet either, which I think is a factor. So a female that's laying for her 20th season is a bigger.
But you lay more eggs when you're younger?
Typically, a bigger but they're not like humans who are born with a limited amount of eggs. They keep producing eggs as they age. So it's kind of a different mechanism of egg development. So I would figure that's a factor. Young females are smaller, so it makes kind of sense that they wouldn't have as much space for bigger or even more eggs. And so as they grow larger, they may lay larger eggs or a larger clutch even. It has been reported with some species that they do tend to lay larger clutches as they get older. Which also, again, with the percentage of turtles that make it to adulthood, the more eggs you have in a clutch, the better chance in the wild one of them is going to make it to adulthood and continue to propagate the species.
Right. That makes sense.
So there.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily correlated to number of eggs, more just to size.
Mm-hmm.
So like a younger doesn't necessarily have a younger, in your experiences, younger female doesn't lay more eggs, just smaller eggs.
A younger might lay more eggs, but she won't lay more eggs as she grows necessarily. She might lay around the same clutch sizes.
Right.
Some just end up laying more than others, but
the larger egg, though, the larger egg has a better chance of surviving.
Yes. Yep.
Right. So, okay. So an older female has a better chance of having the offspring survive. Is a general thesis. right?
Yeah. They have a better idea of what they're doing.
Okay. Right. Older chicks always do.
They
Um,
always do.
so we wanted to say again. I think. Do we have time for another question? I know we're getting.
Of course we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I guess we'll toss another one out here. So Palma Medusa, da, 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 da. All right. Let me make sure there aren't any new ones. If there aren't, we'll go get a second one from our first question. All right. Favorite reptile show. Of course, I think most of us have only been to only really been to a few of them, so we have a limited selection. So maybe it'll be interesting to get Kevin's perspective, because I think everybody's already heard how much the rest of us like Hamburg as far as the regional ones here. Kevin, what's the favorite one you've been to?
I haven't been to many reptile shows because I don't really like it. I think the best one is Ham, which is take place in Germany. In Germany.
Isn't it in Hamburg, Germany?
Oh yeah, it's this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently the name Hamburg is correlated to good reptile shows, whether it be in Germany or in Pennsylvania.
And also good dinner options.
If you're speaking
Well,
of the hamburger.
Right.
Take anything past you.
No, for real. Have you heard about this show in Germany?
Yeah.
Read about it.
How do you call it?
Hamburg. That's right.
No, it's ham.
Oh, really?
Ham.
I thought it was
Ham.
Hamm.
Yep.
I might be wrong.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's ham.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So yeah, it might be this one. It's one of the biggest.
Have you been, Kevin, or is that just have you heard about it?
No, I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
I personally enjoyed I personally enjoyed Daytona because it's not so much for the show, and I feel like the more that we get into this stuff, the less we enjoy the shows per se, because usually our money's already spent buying stuff from our friends. So really the only reason to go to the shows is just to talk to people, network, and just be nerds. You know, feel comfortable being a nerd with other nerds. But
remaining nerds together.
yeah, nerds and nerds living in harmony together for a few minutes at least. So Daytona's cool though because there's a lot of stuff around it, and I don't mean like geographically. I mean like there are a lot of things scheduled around it. There was a gentleman. There is a gentleman who used to have get-togethers at his place, and you can go over and actually see what's going on there as far as what he's breeding and everything. His breeding ponds is really, really cool experience. And then ZooMed sponsors Turtle Night, which is before the show, and there's also a banquet put on by Austin's Turtle Page or Turtle Forum, where they have a banquet as well down there around the show. So there's a lot of different things going on. There's a I don't know how to pronounce this word. USARC, the U.S. USARC that does such great work with with reptile legislation. They sponsor a or I don't know if they sponsored or if they're the main benefactor of the auction at down there at the Daytona Expo as well. So there's all sorts of things going on, and that's why I think that's a really cool expo. So Hamburg is kind of this, this cool place. I'm going to use this phrase again for like the second or third time this show, but it's kind of a diamond in the rough place where you sorry, but you can kind of, it's really cool. It's in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if it's Amish country or not, Steve, but it sure looks like it.
It's not quite. There are some Amish in Berks County, but not all that many in the Hamburg area.
It's all Amish to me, my friend. It looks Amish. There's cows and big farm things that you'd see on a postcard from Pennsylvania.
Farms equal Amish.
The one in Mesa Arizona seems to be the same. We've been asked to speak at the Turtle and Tortoise Preservation Group TTPG conference the last couple of years, and we haven't been able to make it down yet, but we're really going to try for next year. And that one seems really cool. The TTPG does a ton of things around that conference where they're having their conference, and then there's the reptile show over the weekend, and then before the conference even, they're letting people go to, the Fife's compound and different stuff like that to see where the breeders live and their stuff that they work with, and we really missed out on that one. But those now are the most attractive things because you can actually get more out of it than just a reptile show. So I'm sorry I went long on that, but it's something I'm very passionate about.
That's funny.
You do love it.
I do. I really do.
All right. Well, I think we should wrap it up here now. The few things that we wanted to mention before we do that, we wanted to say again if you're gonna the code for the calendars, 20% off for the next 24 hours. If you get up there, check it out. The code you can put in at checkout is Pondcast 12 Africa. So please check. Again, head over to the website and take advantage of that. It's a good coupon. I love coupons, so any coupon is a good bet.
There's a girl behind you.
Is there a lady?
There's a girl behind you. Yeah.
Cool. Don't tell her we're talking about turtles, or she won't be behind me for long. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on. I think this was a great time. We're going to have you back, and we appreciated everything.
Sure.
Your opinions. You guys, do you have anything you want to say to wrap it up, Kevin, or anyone else?
Yeah, I do. What I say is, let's forget about Asian turtle and let's focus on Africa. No, I'm just kidding.
That's so
no,
great.
I'm just kidding.
He's right.
But
he's a bit of a homer.
yeah. No, I was just kidding.
Yeah, this is, I think this is one of the things we love about Kevin too is he's got a slightly different passion than the rest of us, and so he's a great addition to our organization. He's been with us now for about 6 months. He joined us and helped us produce that a native map resource that was so popular at the end of June, beginning of July.
Yeah, that was great.
He and I have other projects we're also working on for the future. So it may take a little while, but keep your eye out for the next kind of application that Kevin and I are working on. And so we've got a lot of cool stuff. We hope for 2015 coming up. We hope it'll be another great year of new educational resources, more contributions to conservation, and continuing to meet our mission of education, conservation, and ultimately survival for turtles and tortoises around the world.
All right. So Kevin, thanks again. We'll definitely have you on again.
Sure, definitely.
This is Tony. Do you have anything else?
No, just thank you, Kevin, man. It's great having you on, and I look forward to years of collaboration in the future. So don't go anywhere.
Way, how did you get on a podcast during finals?
Me?
Yeah, you don't have finals?
I did one. I did have a final on Monday, but that's it.
Incredible. Truly incredible. I know I was dead to the world when I had finals, but again, thank you. We are the Pondcast. We are breathing out of our butts, and we are signing off.
All right.
Speak for yourself.
I think that's a great tagline.
I think so too.